Hey, y'all, welcome back to Launch My Biz Academy. My name is Jenny, and I'm really focused in this segment on talking about the financial systems that are necessary for your life coaching, or consulting business. I'm really specifically focused on people who have a side hustle and you want to become the CEO of your side hustle. In order to do that, you really have to have some critical systems in place. But listen, today, what we're going to talk about specifically is a financial management system. Now, why is it important? Well, when you start a business, it has some similarities to personal finances, but it's also super important to look at some of the ways that you want to structure your business so that you can track and measure how well is your business performing. So the very first thing you need in your business, when you start your business, even if you're 3, 4, 5 years in, what you need to make sure of is that you have a good financial management system. Now, in my businesses, I use QuickBooks Online. That allows my bookkeeper to come in. It allows me to produce reports no matter where I am. And so the first thing that you need to have in your business is a financial management system. You have QuickBooks Online, you have FreshBooks, you have Xero, there's literally a ton of them. Some of the key components that you want to make sure that it has, especially if you're running your business, you want to be able to have a chart of accounts. You want to be able to have a profit and loss statement. You want to be able to have a cash flow statement, and you want to be able to have a balance statement. And I'm not going to go too heavily into all of those. The point is that you want to make sure that you have a robust enough system that it can grow with you, grow with your business as you're growing and getting larger, as you're scaling your business. So the first thing is a financial management system. The second thing that you need to have is segregate, that means separate your personal finances from your business finances. So you may say, okay, Jenny, what does that mean? I don't understand. Okay. Too many business owners, especially small business owners, will mingle their business expenses and their personal expenses. What that means is this, is that I have a personal bank account, my personal checking account. I've started my business and I am paying, my subscription for QuickBooks. I'm paying that from my personal account. I went to a meeting or I got some office supplies and paying that from my personal account, right? And then when revenue comes in, when money comes in from a client, it goes into the same account. So you might be saying, okay, yeah, well, I do that now. What's the problem? Here's the problem. Well, there's a couple. Number one, the IRS doesn't like it because you can't separate your business life and your personal life in terms of finances. The second thing is that you don't have any idea what's happening in your business. You don't know if you're spending too much money. You don't know if you're spending enough money, whatever it is. So it's really important to separate your business and your personal finances. That means also have a business credit card if you are so inclined, and have a personal credit card. They cannot be the same. The other important parts of this is that when you are paying taxes, some businesses, again, depending on your structure, if you're a sole prop, if you're an LLC, if you're an S Corp, if you're a C Corp, whatever that structure is going to have tremendous impact on your tax liability. So just make sure, bottom line is to make sure you have those separated, segregated. So again, if you're a life coach, someone in a service business, you're who I'm speaking to right now. Make sure you segregate your finances so that you're able to clearly track. Now, let's go back. I told you to have a financial management system. Okay, very important. Now that you have the system, you're like, Jenny, what do I do next? Okay, so it's important that your financial management system is properly set up. This is a huge issue, and it's kind of a silent issue, and it actually kills off your business. It kills off your ability as a business owner to understand how much money you have coming in, what are your expenses, what's your cash flow. So, really critical piece of this that you need to do is I would personally hire a bookkeeper. And if you hire a bookkeeper to create what I'm sharing right now, which is your third action step, is it'll probably cost you $50 maybe. not more than that. It shouldn't be much more than that. And what you want that bookkeeper to do is to create what they call a chart of accounts that is relevant to your business. Now, some people are just going to pull something off the rack and plug it into your system. You want to make sure that it's based on your business. Let me give you an example. A chart of accounts is literally as it sounds. It's kind of a chart and it has different accounts in it. It has a revenue account, and inside of that revenue account, it should have the specific services that you offer, that you bring money in for. Okay. Then you have expenses, and your expense account is going to be the longest of the accounts. So you'll have things like office supplies, rent or occupancy, utilities, phone, internet, mileage if you have a service where you're doing a lot of driving, taxes, licenses, professional dues and fees. There's a whole number of different accounts that you need to track each one of those kinds of expenses. Okay. Very important to make sure that it's set up properly. Now, here's a secret. Y'all make sure you take a note of this. Here's a secret. One of the areas that people really get stuck on and get jammed up in actually is not having either cost of services or cost of revenue or cost of goods sold. Now, this is a little bit more technical, but I want you to be really clear that you get this part set up in your chart of accounts. Because what it does is it gives you a very clear understanding of actually how much money you have remaining after you have paid some critical expenses. And it kind of shows you how much money do I have left to actually work in my business. And so a cost of services is really the costs, the various costs that is required to deliver your services. So let me give you an example. Let's say I have a training company outside of Launch My Biz Academy. I have a big training company, and I have 1099s and as well as W-2 employees that work with us. I have 1099 contractors and W-2 employees. The work that they do, the work that the most of them do falls under cost of services because they're responsible for actually delivering our training services. And a lot of people make the mistake of not categorizing them properly because even when you do that, there are tax benefits to it. So that's, again, more complicated. But I want you to be very mindful. Do some research. Go do research on your own. Cost of services, cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold is typically for more product-based businesses, but cost of goods sold, cost of services, and cost of revenue. Either of those three, research them. You can type in, I have a life coaching business or life coaching, life coaching business. And I have 4 people on my payroll. What would be my cost of services? What would be the types of things that would fall under my cost of services? Very, very, very important to make sure you allocate that. And then it's in your chart of accounts, because what it does is it gives you a much better idea of the money that you have remaining to pay for all the expenses, your operating expenses. That means, how do I operate my business? It pays for all those operating expenses. Super important to know and to track. Okay. So having a strong chart of accounts is really important. Then those are some of the sort of core foundational things that I want you to be mindful of as you are moving from having a side hustle to being the CEO of your life coaching business. Very important. Your financial management system is, in a lot of ways, the lifeblood of your company. Now, number 4, how do I set my pricing? I know a lot of people ask this. Well, I'm going to talk about it in relation to your financial management system, so that you can kind of understand why it's important to have your chart of accounts set up properly, and why it's important for you to have your business and your personal expenses segregated. So once you have set up your financial management system, and I'm actually do this in another video as well, then you want to figure out, well, how much should I charge for my services? Well, there's other things that go into that. Like, what are your targets? What are your goals, your financial goals, your revenue goals, your profit goals? What do those look like? But it's important to make sure that you have all of your expenses, because often what happens in our businesses is that we overlook things like subscription services as an expense to our business, right? It costs us money to have a subscription for our business, but we overlook it. We don't include it. So when that happens, this is why folks are often broke. It's that we don't account for all the money is required to run our businesses. And this is why having a financial management system is so important. It's so important. And having everything properly allocated, because what you do is you then can calculate out how much does it cost to run my business, and then figure out a percentage, take that number, divide it by the number of clients that you have or you anticipate having, and get a percentage. That percentage should be always added to the base price of your services that you're offering. Again, this is huge. And I'm going to talk again about how we price our products or services. Sorry, how we price ourselves, because often, again, we're pricing things not taking into account the expenses. There are expenses that it takes to run a business, from your utilities to your phone, to your internet, to your subscriptions, to your professional dues and fees, to your salary, making sure you're paying yourself. There's a lot of expenses. But just to recap, critical to have a financial management system. In very, very, very important to set up your chart of accounts properly, making sure that you have a proper allocation of cost of goods, cost of service, or cost of revenue that is set up in there, so that you have a clear understanding of how much money you actually have for your operating expenses. So if you want some more detailed information on setting up your business, I have a free profit checklist that you can go to the link and download it. And please go through it and put some of the strategies into action. Implement those. Easy one. If you don't have your personal and business finances segregated, that means you have bank accounts and credit cards for your business, do that right now. It is 100% worth it. It might feel like, oh, why do I got to do this? It is critical to the life of your business. And it's critical for you to understand. And also, the liability that you incur if you have those mingled can be catastrophic. You want to have your business separate from your personal life. Very important. So again, make sure you download the profit checklist. My name is Jenny. I am the founder of Launch My Biz Academy. I love training. I love to be able to ensure that people, especially life coaches, can start building the business to have $10,000 consistent $10,000 a month targets, $10,000 and beyond, but we're going to hit 10,000 and start with that. These are the systems that become really critical to make that happen. So make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you continue to follow along as we do this great work. If you have any questions, please make sure you reach out to me, and I'm happy to answer anything. Hit me in the DMs. I'm happy to answer you. Take care.